I like the Suns tonight. I like them laying 6. I thought that spread was fat for how bad they've been playing this season early on and how good Minnesota has looked.
Not so fast. Midget. Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast.
This is the first game of Booker, Beal, and KD. This is their debut together.
Yeah, that's fucking beat. Fuck Bradley Beal. He is the worst. And I'm officially off of the Suns tonight. I honestly might even fade him. Justin Herbert, I'm just going to say it. He's mid. Dak Prescott. He's a coin respecter right now.
Yes.
He is. Jameis Winston now.
I feel like he could go in the GOAT category just because he's Jameis.
You could tell last night. Kent State had no business winning that game. They were never winning that game. Shit bet. I cannot believe what my eyeballs witnessed on the court last night in the MAC. What the fuck, dude?
Took Nick Bosa over 0.75 sacks. So Baker is screwed. The offensive line is screwed. Nick Bosa is going to terrorize them.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Wednesday, episode 381 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Javon, presented by Pickett Sports. If you guys aren't tracking your bets on Pickett Sports, grow up, okay? New Year's resolution for you. 3 days in, start tracking your bets on Pickett, the best bet tracking app out there. Best UI UX on the Apple Store and Google Play to track your bets. Go check it out, chat. Javon, good to be back. Bittersweet a little bit after yesterday's plays. Pretty bad, at least from there. Terrible day in college basketball. absolutely terrible. Had a couple plays I loved. Had a 5-unit play of the year. That was maybe the worst bet of the day. I don't know if you could have picked the worst bet. They were not in that game for a single second. Started down 8-0, and it was kicked from the rip. Okay, chat. Bad bets. Shit bet. That's on me. I will take any chirps, any chirps are deserving from that play. It was absolutely atrocious. But let's power through these recaps. Okay, we've got a couple of them. Goots, we could pull up the W/L squad ride and best bets recap from Friday, if possible. We got a couple things to go over, chat. And yes, Lafayette is looking at me funny. Sagala, we'll talk about that soon. Javon, a clean sweep on Friday. Sure. Love to see that. Great work. And then the Kraken came through as well for the squad ride. Love to see that. It was never Omaha. It was never Iowa State in college football. Gosh, that was a terrible play. Great to remember that one and relive that one. Thank you, Goots. We got D Belly coming in hot, giving a subby out. Love to fucking see that. 1 month. Dubs. All right, let's recap the Hail Mary and Five Guys, if possible. The Hail Mary was absolute piss. Marshall and Wyoming were free. Wyoming never in doubt. Game-winning kick, sure. Cowboys ML, we had the refs help on that one. It really came down to the Dolphins, which I loved with you as well, Javon. And they got absolutely destroyed, obliterated by the Ravens, who right now are the best team in the NFL. It's not even really close. That was just a shit bet, and we moved. But a 4 for 5 week from the Hail Mary, Javon can't make it up. We love going 4 for 5.
We do. Kind of feel bad for the Dolphins, man. The Dolphins can't go single game staying healthy. It's kind of unfortunate for them.
Every game, one of the best players gets hurt.
So the Ravens are the best now? Is that consensus? Okay.
Yes, good. Okay. The Ravens are the best.
If you just would have put the Ravens in there, would have been great.
If we would have put the Ravens in there, we would be rich. We'd be kind of guap. But we didn't. It is what it is. So let's move and let's groove here. We'll pull up the Five Guys entry, which I don't really think had much life. I know Jonathan Taylor did not come through. Prescott and Mahomes did, though. Jordan Love, we got to stop putting him in there. That one was on me. He looked like freaking Tom Brady. He's been unbelievable in the second half of the season. And Blake Corum was a great square from you, Javon. Went 3 for 5 on the Five Guys entry. Not good enough. My bad on the Jordan Love square, and then Javon, the Jay Taylor square, was never the play.
Yeah, we split the blame on that one.
It was always Judkins, less than
always was. That was a debating meat square from you. I was kind of disappointed.
Couldn't put meat on tape for it.
I was shocked. I was shocked you didn't end up putting meat on tape for that one.
I took the square. I cashed it back. Yeah. I carried a little toothpaste, but yeah, could not put meat on tape for it and should have. Okay, we'll go over the NFL Week 17 plays here real quick, chat. I cleaned up shop once again. NFL, just absolutely murdering the NFL slate here in the second half of the season.
Just picked up the slack for me.
Yep, that's all right though. You've been killing it almost every week.
If it wasn't a prop,
5-1-1, I believe.
That's for sure.
What'd you say?
I said if it wasn't a prop, I wasn't hitting it this weekend. So
yeah,
that's good thing. Good thing you had some plays.
That's honestly impressive though, Javon.
It kind of is. Yeah, I hit a bunch of props, sides and totals. I guess I kind of stacked on the same games, not intentionally, but didn't work.
Okay. All right, let's move. Let's groove. We'll talk about the national championship as we get a Ron Mux Clam subby. What's up, Ron? Hope you had a great freaking holiday. I know I did. Had a great time up in Ocean at Atlantic City. Javon, I know you were boozing, having a good time in the new year, but you're back home and chat. We are back locked in for BTL for the rest of the year. Okay, no more fun, no more off days. We are locked and loaded, ready to roll. So if you're in here for the first time, drop a follow. As always, share the stream with your buddies. Say, hey, you guys need some winners after yesterday's play of the year loss from Krabs. Moose shit play. He's bouncing back today. Share them live. Really appreciate you guys. Okay. Krabs, would you say Love is better than Hurts? Still, God, no. I'd still rather have Jalen Hurts on my team, but I think Jordan Love is playing better right this second. I don't think that's really a doubt at all. I think right now Jordan Love is absolutely running circles around him. Jordan Love is one of the best QBs in the NFL the second half of the season. Statistically, how he's looked for the majority of the games, maybe 1 or 2 goose eggs in there, but he's looked sharp as heck. And think about who he's thrown the ball to. He's had hurt receivers. He's had moose receivers. His O-line is average at best. His running backs have been hurt all season. It's been impressive and not talked about enough, and maybe it will be towards the end of the season. Maybe the Packers can sneak into the playoffs. I don't know, but do not sleep on Jordan Love. He's looking sharp as attack recently, chat. Let's hop into the Michigan talk a little bit here, Javon. What a freaking game on Monday. Michigan versus Bama. The whole world on Bama. Great call, Javon. You switched me over to Michigan about a week ago, and that was the right sides. It was always Michigan, the most slept on, least talked about, least bet favorite 1 seed I've ever seen in the college football playoff short history. And they came through. Javon, they didn't even play well. Michigan didn't even look good. Besides your guy, Corum, looking like he was freaking Rashad White out there, the best receiving back on earth. They did not look good. They looked terrible. They were muffing punts. They were throwing terrible passes in the beginning. They looked bad, and they still beat Bama and got a big-time win. I am so stoked, Javon, for this Washington game. What are your thoughts, though, real quick, first on Michigan?
I mean, it was pretty clear in that game who was the better team, really, for the entirety of the game. Because, I mean, without all those mistakes, which not to say that Bama looked fantastic either, but I'm off the punt, all the other bullshit that Michigan pulled, and they still came out on top. They were just dominant in the trenches. And I guess in both games, there was a side on the defensive line in both games that I didn't think would get dominated nearly as much as they did. Bama's O-line, I know how good Michigan is in the trenches, especially with that offensive line, even missing their centerpiece who's out for the season, but they got dominated on the offensive line. They were getting driven back literally every single time. And then on the other side, the Michigan pass rush had Jalen Milroe in shambles. So, that was as dominant a performance in the trenches as I've seen from a team against Alabama, maybe ever. So, that was super impressive to watch. And then, obviously, I've been making this comparison since before the playoffs started. I think Michigan is Virginia after UMBC. They had the biggest upset in college football history, or college football playoff history, in the 10 years, losing to TCU last week. That was 7 straight bowl games they lost coming into that Alabama game. Now they break the curse, and now in the championship, they're going up against the Cinderella, who's the underdog that everybody thinks can't keep doing it, and that's kind of exactly what Virginia faced when they were in the championship. Funny enough, they faced Texas Tech, who was the underdog with Jarrett Culver and that team that nobody thought could keep getting there and keep winning, and the train stopped there. So, sticking to it. I still think it's Michigan.
So do I. And honestly, if we can get a poll up, that'd be fucking sick. Goots to the mods, if you can throw up a poll on Twitch for Michigan and Washington spread for Monday, that'd be elite. Let's talk a little bit about Penix, though, because he does deserve his flowers, Javon. Michael Penix throwing darts in that game against Texas. My goodness, he looked sharp as heck. The rest of the team looked good. I wouldn't say they looked great. I know that defense kind of collapsed late, and they're going to have one heck of a time covering Corum on Monday if they're not going to be able to limit him. They got kind of torched in the second half by Texas in that comeback. Definitely worried me. The first half of the game, though, Washington looked great, and they put up plenty of points. Michael Penix throwing absolute darts. Sure, Javon, I 100% agree with everything you said about the Natty coming up and Michigan being the team that nobody wants to bet, the least talked about favorite that I've seen since the college football playoffs has started, and everybody back in Michael Penix in Washington. I've already seen slips. I've seen people talking about it. I've seen people saying, why is this spread at -4.5? It should be at a pick 'em. I think you guys have all seen that talk. When you hear that talk, when you see that talk, what do? You lay it with the favorite. You plug your nose, you close your eyes, and you lay it because it's a winner. Plain and simple. And I don't know if it's going to be, Michigan money line for 2 units. I don't know if it's going to be spread, lay it, and don't even think about it. But we're going to have to play Michigan in some capacity on Monday, Javon. I don't know what we're going to do, but we got some time to talk through it. But chat, very curious because you guys are sharper than most. Are you guys on the Michigan train with us? Or are you guys with the public a little bit here and the Michael Penix Cinderella story with Washington? Don't get me wrong. This Washington team is very good. This Washington team, to be completely honest with you, feels like a team of destiny a little bit, and it scares me. But there's no way that I don't lay it with Michigan here in this spot and fade this Washington team. Look, we know Michigan destroyed Bama in the trenches in that game. Washington's O-line will be better. They will be better than Bama's. One of the better O-lines in college football. They won the award for the best O-line unit in college football this year. So it's going to be a tougher challenge, but I think Michigan will be up for the test. They didn't even look good in the semis game, and they got a big-time win against Bama. I think they'll look much better, much improved. J.J. McCarthy maybe got some of those nerves out. He clearly had some of them early in that game. My goodness. But Corum, he was an absolute animal, and that's not going to stop, and that's going to be enough for Michigan to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, go back, put up those clips again, Goots, for a second, because I'll tell you what the difference is. The offensive line is absolutely fantastic, but the Texas defensive line, we've been saying it for a bit now. They're good against the run. They're a mediocre pass rush at best. And look what happened when they had any sort of, I don't know, pressure on Michael Penix throughout the season. He's not very good. The thing is, you haven't been able to do that very much because Michael Penix has been kept absolutely clean in that pocket. Texas defensive line, thanks for coming out in this game, because I don't think Michael Penix sniffed the field more than twice in this entire game, or even sniffed a little bit of pressure. So the big bad Texas offensive line got absolutely sunned in that game, almost harder than Alabama's did in the run game against Michigan. So the one difference, Michigan's defensive line is obviously very good, and everybody knows that, but we saw what the pass rush did to Jalen Milroe, who, I mean, not that Michael Penix isn't an athlete, but talk about a guy who can use that to their advantage a little bit more. I would say it's Jalen Milroe, who can use it with his legs a little bit more than Michael Penix can, and he still really wasn't able to do that. So I think that pass rush is going to have Michael Penix in hell for a little bit. Will he still get some off? Yes, but when you have that combined with Blake Corum and what they're going to do in the run game, keeping the ball out of Penix's hands, maybe a little bit like that Oregon State game, it's a little less room for error if you're talking about Washington against a really good defense. So I will gladly back Michigan.
Okay. I'm with you. It looks like Chad agrees. 59% of bets coming in on the Wolverines to cover the spread. Sure, Chat. I'm with you. W's, maybe it was our sell jobs that got you clicking that Michigan button. Sure. Love to see it. Dubs and Lembong coming in with a subby. People forget we do it all for Lembong. Okay, don't forget it anymore. Lembong, great to see you. I hope you had a great holiday, great new year. What do you want today, brother? Let me know. We got Pure 068 coming in hot with a subby, 23 months, and we still in this bitch. Yes, sir. Let's make it 2 years next month, Pure. Why not us, brother? Why not us? W's, all right. It's got to be Michigan on Monday. We'll talk way more about that as well. But for now, Javon, let's hop. All right, I want to get mad about something. Goots, run that shit. Purdue is 16-13 in road games with Zach Edey. I fucking bet they are. I fucking bet. Well, now they're 17-13, and now I don't have any coins. Okay, the Terps didn't show up yesterday. That game was hard to watch. Goots, I apologize for you having to go to that game, spend money, and actually sit there for 2 hours and watch it, witness it. Disgusting. Brutal. Okay, Maryland, the Terps. The worst part is, it's not even like Purdue played great. Maryland just played absolutely terrible. Purdue handed them a cover the entire game. Maybe they pulled away late at the end, sure. But the Terps, I mean, they could not put ball in hoop. Embarrassing to watch. And that ends Maryland's 19-game home streak. Smell ya. Bye-bye. Seems like Zach Edey figured out some of those road woes. Absolute fucking dog. And then, Javon, I'm thinking, all right, whatever. The POY loses. You can't win them all. Let's pivot to this Pitt game. They're winning pretty much the whole game. They're looking pretty sharp. Your guy Carrington looking pretty good. Yeah, they blow it too. Yep. They blow it too. Pitt Panthers, they're terrible. Their coach is absolutely atrocious. No wonder why he didn't get the job at Duke. It's because he sucks, and now he's at Pitt. Absolutely terrible coach and terrible team. Carrington's a stud, sure. But I don't think I've seen two teams shoot worse than Pitt and Maryland yesterday.
Hey, shout
Two
out,
of the biggest bets of the day. So,
shout out Blake Hinson. I think he finished 3 for 15, 1 for 10 from 3.
Blake Hinson, debatably the best player, got benched with 10 minutes left in the game because he was jacking shots trying to get hits.
Ridiculous shots.
He was just, I think he literally had a panic attack on the court and just started jacking threes.
I was I was watching a little bit of it when I was on the plane or getting on the plane, and I was just like, anytime he touched the ball, I was just like, please don't pass him the ball, because anytime he touches it, it's going up, no matter who.
I mean, they had to bench your best player. Yeah,
he was
they had to bench your best player because he was shooting so much and missing. Unbelievable. 2 terrible bets. Units were lost. 7 units were lost between these 2 plays. All of those Michigan winnings gone. Smell you later. It is what it is. Sometimes the board just plays out square. Yes, it does, Chris Pipey, or however you say your name. Yes, 100% it does. And last night it sure as hell did. And then I'm sitting there thinking, no way the Lobos blow it tonight. No way I go 0-3 on these 3 best bets, these 3 big bets, these 3 big puppies. No way. And then Patrick Cartier, this fucking senior transfer, literally coming over from Hillsdale College. Anybody heard of it? Anybody want to take guesses of where that college is? I have no fucking idea. I've never heard of that school in my life. Kid transfers from there in his grad year, drops a career-high 21 piece. The kid was unstoppable. He turned into fucking Kevin Love in his prime in this game. It was unbelievable. The kid couldn't miss. Patrick Cartier. You cost me at Cartier last night. Fucking balling. and beating New Mexico State. They didn't get a cover either. We go 0-3 on the big bets yesterday. Absolute piss, chat. Absolute piss. We got to be better. I got to be better. And we're bouncing back with winners today. Plain and simple. It really is.
There we go. So
It
we
really
need.
is.
Yeah, shout out
Right?
Jalen House too.
Yeah, Jalen House ended up getting 14 when he had 0 points in the first 30 minutes of the game. So that was fun.
But yeah, I was saying more for the game because he was in foul trouble. And to be honest with you, the way that game kind of closed, I feel like it would be a little different if Jalen House was able to stay in that game.
So Jalen House was absolutely strapping up Isaiah Stevens. I don't know. Look, if you guys don't like college basketball, turn the fucking show off because we're talking about it. Jalen House is a menace on the court. Jalen House has more energy, I think, than any other player on that court combined last night. That's how he is. That's how he plays. He gets technicals. He yells at refs. He yells at players. He does weird shit. That's what Jalen House does. He brings the energy. He's the pulse of that New Mexico team. So he gets 2 quick fouls. One of them was absolute horseshit call. He gets 2 quick fouls, and you know that's already throwing him off in the brain. He's kicked. He's toast the rest of the fucking game. They bench him. He doesn't play until 5 minutes into the second half. Gets a quick third foul. The dude's just absolutely out of it. But it does suck, Javon, because when he was in the game in the beginning, the first 7 or 8 minutes, Isaiah Stevens could not move. He couldn't do anything because he was getting absolutely clamped up. And then Jalen House gets in foul trouble, and our bet's caked. So brutal. It is what it is. Terrible wager. 3 moose shit bets. Not making any excuses. Just terrible bets. Terrible bets.
Yeah.
We're bouncing back today, though, chat. We're bouncing back today. All right, I can feel it. We've got plenty of plays, plenty of college basketball opportunities to bounce back and find some winners. And yes, Godson, the PLL schedule did just drop. I'm fucking stoked, bro. I'm absolutely stoked. Okay, Goots.
Locked.
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely be in the Baltimore games. Scroll down a little bit, Goots. I think it's the next one. We'll definitely be hitting the Baltimore games. 100p. And looks like, yeah, their home field is Homewood Field. Sure, in Baltimore, where Hopkins plays. Okay. W's. God, that San Diego game is going to be sick, too, with the Redwoods. W locations, chat, get fucking ready. Okay, and yeah, Goots is locked in right now. Get ready for the PLL. All right, we got Championship Series starting up in about a month or two, and then we've got, obviously, the whole shebang, the season starting up this summer, but they did just release the schedules if you guys are trying to get involved. And yeah, Chaco, 1,000%. I'll be stepping over to the Baltimore games. We'll meet up there and watch them out. All right. We got a sub bang from Odds on Estates. Sure. Love to see it. Odds on Estates. Thanks for the subby. Let's keep moving and grooving, Javon. We don't have time to keep talking about recaps. It's Wagon Wednesday. All right. Let's talk about 2 teams that are absolute fucking wagons so far. I'm going to go with Purdue. Yep. Feels like good timing here with Purdue. Zach Edey is a new man. Zach Edey is a changed man this season. Zach Edey, I've been extremely impressed with his conditioning. I've been extremely impressed with his defense this season. The guy did not play a lick of defense in his first 3 seasons. He couldn't. It wasn't an effort thing. He just did not have the stamina to be able to play both sides of the ball. He's a 7'6" behemoth, literally a giant in real life. I don't blame the guy. I couldn't be able to fucking be conditioned as well as he was already a couple of years ago, but we're here. And he looks like a new man, a new player. He's playing more minutes, Javon. He's playing defense. His blocks are up. His points are up. The guy is a fucking machine. Zach Edey has leveled up his game, and you're seeing him now in these NBA draft projections, Javon. He's down to 14. This ESPN one they dropped, he's down. Last year, he was a second-round pick. People were saying, oh, he's Drew Timme. He's Sonogo. He's just one of these big bodies who is slow and is not going to be able to make anything happen in the NBA. Well, he's leveled up his game so much this season and started to play defense where now he's going to be a top 15 pick in the NBA. It's looking like, and I agree with that. He's a stud, but it's not just Edey. Javon, this entire team has been absolutely on fire. Braden Smith has been so consistent for this Purdue team this season. Absolute sharpshooter, can score anywhere on the court. This dude has been an absolute menace this season for Purdue. And then you got a bunch of other role players who are balling too and have been more consistent than I've ever seen. Fletcher Lawyer, they got Lance Jones over from the Salukis. Javon, Lance Jones is just the glue guy that this team needed. Does everything well. Lance Jones is a stud. And then Mason Gillis. This team has so much depth. This could be the year, guys. This could be the year Purdue actually does something and wins for once. I'm in on this squad. They are unbelievable. They can score in a bazillion different ways. It's not just feed Edey the ball and clear out an ISO. They can run fucking pick and rolls with Edey. He's getting mobile now. They can hit threes. This team does it all. Okay, this team has depth. They have shooters. They have a big. They have a great coach. And most importantly, they're good. Okay, Purdue, watch out for them this year. I think they're the national champions. I really do.
Yeah.
Big game on Friday. They welcome Illinois in, first ranked game against a ranked opponent when they're a 1 seed at home. Very curious to see how that plays out for Purdue on Friday. Big time game. We'll see. Purdue, are they looking? Illinois, a really good team coming into town. We'll see on Friday. All right, but they're my wagon right now. Who do you got?
Going with McNeese again, and I'm saying it again because I don't think people heard me the first time. Because this team is legitimately really good. They're not just like a cool little mid-major story. They just went into Ann Arbor and got a dominant double-digit victory over Michigan. And that's not just a standalone win. They've been doing this all season. Like net rankings, Ken Palm, whatever you want to say, they're up there and above a lot of really good teams because they played a really tough schedule. And like I talked about, over their non-conference, they've been playing on the road. They've been playing a couple teams that they've just gone out and beat. So there's a lot of value, and there's been a lot of value on them in the non-conference. And now they're going into a notoriously, weak, low-majored conference in the Southland where they're going to be playing teams which, I mean, to be honest with you, they're going to be pretty large favorites against the majority of these teams in conference now. So, this is not just a cool little story of a team that is maybe going to pick up a couple of weird games and upsets in non-conference. No, this is a team that I don't think come around March, assuming they get there, which, to be honest with you, if they keep putting together a resume like they are, it's not crazy to say that they can have a little shot of a bid without an auto bid winning their conference.
An auto bid.
Yeah, without it. The way that they're playing right now. But the problem is they play in a super weak conference. So why I'm bringing it up again is because Goots bring up the other tweet talking about the net ranking in the conference. They play in the Southland, which a lot of shitty teams that they're going to beat, but you don't have many opportunities to contain or keep up that Ken Palm / net ranking because they're very high right now. It's not going to stay that because they're playing shitty teams. How they're going to have to beat that, which Will Wade, even though he's a terrible person, he's a great coach and great at doing this specifically like he did at LSU. He likes to manipulate the rankings and make sure that he's up there, whatever it takes. And how do you get high in the net rankings when you're playing shit teams? You beat them by a lot of points. So they're going to be running up the score all conference play, which that means covers for a lot of it. So I'm going to continue betting on them, not just when they're big underdogs and non-conference like they have been, but now they're going into conference play where they're going to be relatively large favorites, and they're going to need to cover those games and win by a lot. So keep betting McNeese because they're so much better than a lot of these teams they're playing, and pay attention to them because if they get into the tournament, they're beating somebody. I don't care who the hell it is they face. They're that good.
Would McNeese be this season's FAU? Are they that good? Because
they have a chance. They have a chance. They do have a coach.
Do they have the guy? Do they have the guy? Do they have the Janelle Davis?
I mean, they do. They have, talk about a couple of guys they have, really. Shahada Wells is the important guy. I mean, I think he dropped 30 and 10 in that game at Michigan, and he's a guy that's not just like a one-off thing either. He's been fantastic, an elite guard for them this season. He also has Power 5 experience. He came from TCU last year, didn't get to play all that much because of injury, but transferred there, a lot of experience. They got Christian Shumate. He's one of the more physical and versatile bigs they're going to see in a mid-major teams. Like, they have the pieces. Obviously, they have the coaching. So I would certainly be very scared, and I think a lot of teams would be very scared to draw McNeese come March.
Okay. Yeah, nobody wants to play McNeese. Nobody wants to play Will Wade. Okay,
Yeah.
Revenge Tour. He's absolutely balling. Grand Canyon this year's FAU. There's a lot of teams, a lot of mid-majors that have piqued my interest this season. A lot of new teams, right? We've seen a lot of these, kind of wagon mid-majors over the last couple of years. Their best players all kind of went to Power Fives this past off season. So you get a lot of new, group of 5 mid-major type teams like McNeese that are making moves this season. And I'm here for it. I'm cool with that. New teams, W's.
I'd say a better comp for them might be Charleston, regular season wise. This feels like a Charleston type run and a little worse of a conference, obviously, but a couple better non-conference wins.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, teams like JMU, there's a lot of great mid-majors this season. I'm very excited to see how this plays out. A lot of conference play starting up this week. All right, college basketball is officially here, folks. So only one more college football game on for this season. That means you guys got to start capping CBB more. Okay, big week for college basketball this week. I know a lot of you guys are diving more into it. This is where you got to hop in and watch, and we'll give you guys all the breakdowns for college basketball for the rest of the year. Okay. We got Took It with Brent coming in hot, giving a subby out. Got my Apple Pay working again. W's, love to see that. Took It with Brent, sure. Awesome. We got a hype train, folks. If anybody else wants to be nice and give some sub bangs out and keep that hype train rolling, I would not be mad one bit. All right, Dubs. First time chatter, ladies man, give us Trent. Sure, he's on the way. Don't you worry. He'll be on here in about an hour. Okay. Odds on the States giving out a 5U whale. Holy smokes. He must have faded my plays yesterday. Let's go odds on the States. He's rich. Sure. First time. Okay, odds on the States. What are you on today, bro? What are you on today, my man? What do you like? Let me know. All right, odds on the States. Appreciate you for the 5U whale. W's. Love to see that. Chat, vibes are up today. All right. The plays might have been losers last night, but the vibes are up. We got Cushion Cameras coming in with a subby, 21 months. Let's fucking go, boys. We got 956 people in here. We need to find you guys some winners. All right. W's, Javon, Wagon Wednesday, Purdue, and McNeese. All right. Real quick, let's do some college football and NFL look-ahead lines here, and then we're going to dive into this absolutely loaded college basketball slate, probably go over all those games for about 30, and then we'll do NBA, NHL to wrap it up before the squad ride. W's?
Yep.
Sure. All right. College football look-ahead lines. We already went over this game a little bit, but a couple other things to note in Washington versus Michigan before we hop into some NFL looks. These guys played in 2021. Corum went off in that game. Michigan won 31-10 in that game. I know it doesn't matter. Almost all new teams at this point on both sides, but Michigan has gotten the better of this team already once when they played a couple years ago. Coach Kalen, he has never lost as an underdog at Washington. Javon, this is crazy. He's 5-0 ATS. He is 5-0 straight up as a dog since taking over as the head coach there at Washington. Crazy. That's a trend that cannot continue. That's a trend I want to fade. Any other points, any other plays, any other prize pick squares that you've looked at early? Anything else for the Natty before we move on?
Yeah. I mean, like I talked about with the run defense of Washington, and I think everybody knows this point, I don't see a world where Blake Corum's running for any less than 120 in this game. And I think his line's like 105-ish, somewhere in like the 104 to 108 or something like that. That's where it opened. So I will be taking that. Haven't locked it in yet because waiting to find pairs for that. But he is going to dominate. And this is very similar to Damian Martinez against Washington, which was my favorite college football square of the year. And this is kind of right behind that, especially when they're going to want to keep the ball out of Michael Penix's hands because they know that he's very dangerous when he does get it into his hands. So they're going to play the TOP game, and they're going to be dominant in the run game. So regardless of what you think about the game, the one undeniable fact that you can say is there is a massive mismatch in the trenches with the Michigan rushing attack and Washington's run defense. So that's going to be attacked all game. Even if they're inefficient, they're going to keep going back to it. Even if Washington strikes first, they're going to keep going back to it. So it's a Corum masterclass for me in this game, which would lean to Michigan and the under.
And if you don't believe, Javon, that they're going to continue to establish the run in this game, I mean, look at what Michigan did in the fourth quarter of the game against Bama, where they had to come back. Yeah. They were still running the ball. They had to. It was the only way they could fucking move the rock up the field. So they will never give up on the run game, and that's a great sign for Blake Corum, who is at 104.5 rush yards for the Natty. And we'll be slamming that more than on prize picks, and we'll be meeting chat at the counter. All right, counter our ball, counter our ball.
Little goose nog, he's only plus 450 to score 3 touchdowns.
Whoa.
That is
goose nog.
You know, I was looking at that too because JJ McCarthy, that little pass rush receiving touchdown square that I took against Bama, and he had 3, I think. I'm looking at that again being up, which I guess they put up a lot of the same squares, so it's kind of hard to read. But I look at that again, and I'm saying, okay, well, it looks a little more obvious now against a absolutely horrendous secondary that's sneakily gotten a little better throughout the year. It's probably just a Corum masterclass on the ground, or if you want to throw like one in there for Donovan Edwards, if he gets in the end zone too. It's like I just think they run down their throat, especially when they get into the end zone.
That is an insane price for anybody to score 3 times in a national championship. Blake Corum only plus 450 to score not twice, 3 times. If you would have asked me how many touchdowns those odds would be there for, I'd say it's for 2. 2+.
Yeah.
That's insane. W. Goods now.
Also, what are your thoughts on McCarthy being better than Tom Brady and Michigan all-time quarterbacks?
Well, that's
crazy quote.
That's just a ridiculous comment when the coach is on an absolute fucking high of his life, talking out his fucking ass. You know what I mean? Just absolutely on cloud nine, just saying things that aren't actually true at all.
Hey,
Was what that was.
I can respect it. Give you guys some confidence going into
Sure,
a
but let's not
national
say he's better than
championship
Tom
game.
Brady. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
people sleep though.
Like-
He is 27-1 or 26-1 in his Michigan career. Shout out the only loss.
After that win, he's now the third best winning percentage in college football history as a QB. They showed that stats. He was fourth before that last win, and he bumped up to 3. They showed that during the game. He's a winner. He's a winner.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters, especially for these bets. Okay. Dubs, Brady wasn't good in college. Yeah, he was pretty good in college. He wasn't, he wasn't fucking Williams good, but he was good. Okay. He wasn't Caleb Williams good, but he was good. All right. And just saying those words out loud is questionable, I would say. It's like on a list of 3 things you shouldn't compare players to. Is one of them is Tom Brady in any scenario.
If he wins a national championship, I'll let it bake.
Then we could talk.
Whatever you got to do.
Then we could talk. Okay. All right. Dubs, NFL look headlines, Javon, really quick. Any games looking at you funny? No Thursday night football this week. That kind of stinks. But we do have 2 Saturday games. We've got Pitt and Baltimore. And we don't know yet if Baltimore's going to be resting their guys, I believe. I don't know, Goots. Maybe you can drop a nugget here.
I would assume the line's telling you they are.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a set thing, but I haven't heard any Harbaugh press conferences where he's like, these players aren't playing and stuff like that.
Right. But yeah, looking at the line flip, it's got to be.
My guess with like when we've been in these situations before, we've kind of like pick and chose where we put players on that game, but it's going to be a lot out and a lot of, the spread makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we've got Houston and the Colts flex the Saturday night as well. Looks like Houston has now flipped from a +1 dog to a -1 favorites. They're actually getting some juice there on the green book as well. Interesting move there with Houston on the road. Maybe they steal a win from the Colts, who've been on absolute fire recently. Also, that's just the least talked about decent team this season is the Colts. I don't think I've heard one analyst, one better, one person say one good thing really about the Colts besides me saying they're better with Gardner Minshew in there. And everyone looking at me like I had 100 eyeballs, and now they're sitting here at 9-7, and they're winning games with Gardner Minshew, who's got maybe the most moxie in the NFL. I'd say he's probably got even more moxie than Taylor Heineke, which is hard to do. Those 2 guys, talk about 2 guys you want to grab a beer with, they're probably up there. Gardner Minshew, that dude just keeps winning games. Any opinions on these Saturday games, Javon? Steelers, I'm assuming it's going to be that -3.5 here with that line flip, and then Houston and the Colts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to get involved with that Steelers-Ravens game, but definitely would lean the Steelers, and I'm going to get involved with the Texans. I think they win the division here on the road, and that also would come with a pretty big upset on the bottom of the screen there with the Titans and Ryan Tannehill, I would think, at home. So that's the script I'm going with this weekend.
Okay. You're going with the Houston gets a win on the roads. I like that. And then you're going with a crazy Jags loss after finally getting back on track with a shutout win.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely will be playing the Titans +5.5, especially after the way that first game went, where it was a relatively similar spot, obviously different location, but didn't play out nearly close to kind of what we expected in that one. And now we're coming back in a weird divisional game where they're on the road trying to clinch the division against Mike Vrabel. You can say what you want about that team and what they've done all through this year, which a lot of it's kind of been because of the weird quarterback situation between Tannehill and Will Levis, what he's been in there. Now he's hurt. Now it's going back to Tannehill, whatever you want to call it. This feels like a Vrabel masterclass spot against the Jags team who, call it what it is, they're just really not that good. And you're banged up at pretty much every level, including Trevor Lawrence. We'll see what his status turns out to be. I would assume he's playing as of now, looking at that line. But if we do get CJ Beathard, have fun.
Well, somebody in chat asked, what are the odds for the Texans to win the AFC South? They have the third shortest odds because Jags -220 as the favorite as of right now. Please do not take that. And then the Colts are actually in between the Jags and Texans at +425. And then the Texans are sitting right behind them at +450, Javon. Are you intrigued / interested at that +450 juice piece potentially or what?
I could be. Could certainly be.
So what has to happen? Give me the breakdown real quick. Obviously, Jags have to lose. Colts have to lose to the
I think
Texans,
it's just
and then
I
they
think
the
it's just
division?
win and Jags loss.
Okay.
Simple.
I mean, if you think those two things happen, it's a no-brainer then laying the Texans plus 450 here instead of just backing the Texans separately on the ML and then trying to fade the Jags. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
wonder
agree.
what the parlay would pay out, though, if it'd be juicier. If you parlayed Houston ML with the Titans ML, would that be juicier than plus 450? Probably not.
Yeah, I can't do math,
Right?
but yeah, play it how you want. I will say I think the best just straight play out of those outcomes would probably be Titans plus 5.5 in that game.
Mm.
Like that's a play that's the only reason I'm definitely huge on the value to straight play the Texans to win the division, but I think regardless of how this Titan game turns out, it's going to be close. It's going to be like a Seahawks game type battle, where even if the Titans kind of choke at the end with, I don't know, the ending of the game was super weird, but even if they choke at the end there, I think it's going to be a field goal type game at the very least. So that's definitely my favorite play out of the couple.
This is a very good question.
I
Why
was,
are the Texans having
I was
longer
just
odds
about-
in the division?
I was just about to say that.
I would assume, because I was looking at a couple of those for other games and other situations like the NFC South. When there's a line flip, they're usually a little slower to react to that. So I would only think if the Texans stay at -1 or even climb, that the odds are going to shift a little bit.
Okay. And yeah, just parlayed Titans ML with Texans ML in the same green book, and those odds are plus 426. So if you think that happens, I would just take the Texans to win the division at plus 450 WCLB. You get better odds. All right, chap. Dubs, love that. Any other looks, any other bets that are catching your eye for Sunday, Javon, before we move on to today's college basketball plays?
You know what does not make much sense to me, actually, looking at this game? That Bucks total is climbing ever so slightly, which I was a little surprised to see. They're 5.5 down to 4.5 on the road at Carolina, and this is winning it for the Bucks. They win the game. They're winning the division after a pretty putrid performance, where realistically they should have gotten shut out against the Saints at home. And that was an embarrassing game. So now coming back, where Baker is banged up because the Saints had a couple of dirty late hits on him that they got flagged for, and his ribs are in shambles. Now you're going to get Rashad White for 25 touches a game, which in theory would drain clock because it's a heavy dose of the run game. And totals moving up after we saw, I think it went over this number slightly in the first game because it was 21-18, but the way these two offenses are playing as of lately, it's not really inspiring too much confidence. So to see that number tick up is definitely interesting. I do think we get a Rashad masterclass, but this number keeps climbing. It's going to give me serious Bucks Falcons game 2 vibes.
Okay. I can get behind that. WSL job. We've got Shaq coming in hot, talking about, where did that Shaq go? Oh, we got a sub bang from Alex F80. Sure. Bears shitting on the Packers this weekend. I like where your head's at, my man. Give me the Bears +3 against the Packers coming off a insanely great win, dominating win on the road. Sure. Give me the Bears. Give me the points. I'm with you there. Awesome. What else, Javon? What other NFL plays catching your eye before we move?
I mean, I know this looks very similar to last week, which is why I don't know if I want to get involved with getting on the side and catching the falling knife exactly, but I will say the Giants +5.5 looks very, very easy. And it's hard to say that with the Giants, but this is nearly the same exact line they got with the Rams last week, which they almost won the game outright. They went for 2, they lost by 1. And we have the very obvious factor of them just playing the Eagles, and that game was weird. They made it weird, and they would have covered that line in that game because they won by 8, but now they're at home. It's like, I don't know if I want to catch a falling knife. I can only assume you don't either, but I was anticipating just wanting to continue fading the Eagles in this spot, but I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, if anything, I like the Eagles
in
this spot. Lay in, 4.5 now? When they were up, or 5.5 even. They were up from 3.5. Pretty wild. Pretty wild seeing that move after we saw them blow a lead to the Cardinals, who were terrible. And the Giants, on the other hand, sure, they've lost 3 in a row, but they've covered 4 of the last 5. They've looked much better of late with Tyrod in there. I think Tyrod might be the answer for this offense, a little more consistent, reliable. And they almost came back and just beat the Rams. In that last game and the week before that, they covered with ease against the same Eagles team, who they'll be playing now at home this time around. Okay, so they were plus 14 in that first game. I guess a lot has changed in the odds makers' eyes since then and now with the Eagles. In my opinion, it really hasn't. I just have been calling the Eagles bad and frauds all year, and you guys laughed at me. And now we're here, and they're frauds and they're bad. But I do like the Eagles in the spot, coming off of 4 losses in their last 5 games. Absolutely embarrassing. Seeing them up to 5.5 makes you want to bet on them. And I hate the Eagles, everything they stand for and everything they're about.
See that total too at 42. And I remember because I took this over 2 weeks ago and it was 43.5, and I think they hit 58 with a lot of fluke, a lot of really weird explosive plays and turnovers to give the Giants easy field position, whatever it may be. I mean, it opened 41, it's starting to go up to 42, which is a little key move, but that total seems a little low. And I mean, coming off of what? I mean, they hit 50 last week with another, like, I think 43.5 total with the Giants Rams. So like the Giants at home now. That seems like an awfully low total. I'll say that.
Yeah, maybe the Eagles defense shows up for once this week.
Just maybe.
Okay. Yeah, well, that should be plus $1 million. He ain't coming back, bro. He ain't coming back. Come on, odds on estates. Don't ruin the day. Get that guy and his stupid crossed arms off the screen. Thank you. We don't need that guy on the screen. Bad vibes. Terrible guy, terrible person, terrible coach. Actually, great guy, great person, but terrible coach.
Do you have any thoughts on this game? Because I see this guy's asking if the Bucs lose, the Saints-Falcons game is for the division. Saints are -3 at home. I don't really know what to do with that game.
I like the Falcons +3. That's what I like in that game.
I just can't.
Don't know if I'll get to the counter there.
I can't get myself to bet Taylor Heineke, man.
I can.
It's just bad.
I can and I will. There's worse QBs.
There are, but like in the Falcons system, as much as people hate Desmond Ridder, he's better for that system, even like despite all the mistakes that he makes in crucial moments. Heineke just doesn't work there. So that's why, like, when they go on the road against a team who stops the run, like they just did last week against the Bears, and Heineke's the quarterback, they're screwed. So like it's a division matchup, whatever you want to say, but I don't know if I can take the Falcons to sweep the season series against the Saints with Taylor Heineke at quarterback on the road.
I'll do it for you. I got you. Don't worry. I'll bet it for you. Yeah, Heineke's not great. He's not great. I don't know if I can get on the same page as you, though. That's the team is better with Ridder under center, but I don't think the team is much better with Heineke under center.
I think they're better. They're better with Ridder at center because he fits. Like they need a quarterback that they can design runs for. Which I mean, like Heineke can use his legs, but they can't really use that as a crutch. It's like Ridder.
No.
Ridder just fits better. That's a better way to put it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I definitely lean the Falcons with the points in a nasty spread bet there. We've got Gargantuan Red coming in with the subbies. Sure. 3 months. W's Gargantuan Red. Love the sub bang. Love the energy. All right. Let's keep winning. Let's keep moving and grooving. All right. One more play that was looking at me kind of funny is seen. Where was it?
The Bills.
Yeah. Well, the Bills are going to be a play. -3, ML, whatever the hell you want to do, but lay with the Bills. They get it done. They're up from – they actually opened up a dog briefly, and now they're up to -3. That's absolutely hilarious. Go ahead and give me the Bills on the road there. Do you concur?
Yeah. I just – realistically, I don't know. The Dolphins are very hurt. That's like the obvious angle, but like I don't think it does an incredible deal for the Dolphins to win this game and win the division, like personally. I just – obviously, there's the home road difference, but to be honest with you, if you're getting a road game in Kansas City, it's not a place where a lot of teams have had a lot of success. But right now, with that team, I'd probably take my chances for that being the best landing spot for them. So, I mean, this feels like a kind of a punt game, if you can ever say that. But yeah,
maybe that's why the Bills are moving up to -3. Okay.
Yeah, Tua is not throwing a pick either. I'll say that though.
Okay. Good. Glad you cleared that one up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, it's got to be the Bills. I like the Cardinals as well, plus 2.5 on Sunday afternoon. That's probably it for right now. Hilarious seeing the Chargers be a favorite against the Chiefs, but that's obviously because the Chiefs are going to be resting everybody.
Yeah, they're resting.
I'll probably be on the Chargers, though. I'll probably be on the Chargers in that spot. Just hilarious looking at that, guys. Take a look at that, and how do you not smile seeing the Chargers be minus 3.5? To imagine all the people out there who aren't dialed, who are going in to check out the lines for the first time, and they're seeing that, and they're not thinking about the people resting. They're like, "What the hell?" I know the Chiefs went bad recently, but they're plus 3.5 to the Chargers. Well, they'll be out.
You know what? You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. I've already seen it. This is just going to be like a legacy Quentin Johnston game when nobody cares, and it's perfectly irrelevant. He's going to go off for like the best game of his career because it just doesn't matter.
Oh man, dude acts like he knows everything. Am I supposed to sit up here and not act confident or act like I don't know shit? So why would I be having a show then? Am I supposed to sit up here and say, "Oh, I don't know," for an hour and a half? The fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah, what are we here for?
All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some games and some plays for today. It's about that time, Javon. Why don't we dive into some CBB? We got an early game starting up soon. Javon, any thoughts on this 4 p.m.er Yale and Howard? Thought it was weird seeing Howard open up plus 5, but now that Yale is up to minus 8.5, that looks right to me.
Yeah, it does look right. Definitely would lean a little bit Yale. Don't know if I'm going to get involved, but if you want to talk about an interesting storyline, you know who's playing for Howard?
Who?
Seth Towns. Harvard.
Well, yeah, the old Harvard grad.
The old Harvard grad going back to play Yale. So, I mean, that's an interesting storyline to watch, especially because I think he has a pretty solid matchup today, and I would not be against taking that square that's on the screen right now, which narrative play / matchup play, but I'd love to back him. I definitely think he has a day, but I don't know if I can trust Howard. Here's a trend spot now.
Not over points.
Not downs more than points. Go ahead and pair that with the Terps and Pitt Panthers on the spread.
Those are good looks.
Those were some tough looks, man. It's all right. We get the coin back.
We'll get it back.
Crabs, or I guess Goots. Goots, you want to go to the CBB board and just put up the board so Crabs can see the very first square that's on the board. Very out of order with every game. Coming off a 15-point performance.
Wow, you had 15?
Yeah.
He did. Did.
Crabs.
They're putting him up first for no reason? Are you kidding me?
He's literally the latest game on the slate.
10 p.m. Bronny.
The last game on the slate, they're just sticking his square up first.
Yeah, unless it's fucking opposite day. That tells me the answer right away. He ain't getting fucking 7 points. No.
That's hilarious.
He might get 6, but he ain't getting 7.
There we go. There's a
W pair goods, boy. Might as well stack Soto too. Throw him in there. Unbelievable.
43 runs. What was his line last year?
46.5 down to 44.5, I think it got to.
Yeah.
So you should hit that this year, right? Mm-hmm. We'll see. I don't know who I want to fade more, honestly, Soto or Judge. I gotta get to the drawing board for MLB.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of people I want to fade. Okay.
Gotta figure it out.
Gosh, I was geeking at your tweet earlier, Javon, talking about crafting MLB Go whales.
Yeah.
We'll be there soon.
I can't wait.
Soon. Man. Honestly, only like 2 months, and then we can start crafting that bullshit.
I know. You need to find my Alec Manoah on the board.
Yes, you do. But for now, we're locked into CBB. Trent, how we doing, brother? You feeling all right? You have a good New Year? You ready to attack the slate today?
Yeah, glad to have the fellas back.
Good. Yep. We'll be back. We'll be on there on Surge today. You're running Surge, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Good. Any plays you're loving? Any plays you have locked in yet?
No, I got nothing locked. I think the Thunder could definitely lose tonight. That's kind of my little nugget I've got for you. Coming off a back-to-back. But I want to hear
you. They got a win last night, though, right?
Big win last night.
Huge win.
Dude, that OKC team is young, fun, and they put up points, dude. They are exciting to watch. They're good.
They're -1 on the road. against the Hawks.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, if we on a back-to-back beat the best team in the NBA, fly to Atlanta and beat the Hawks, like,
Yeah, give me the Hawks.
I'll be shocked.
Jesus.
We
That
just
spread
completed,
is hilarious.
we just completed the gauntlet, which is we went into Denver twice, won both games, which is impossible to do. Blew out the best team in the West, the Timberwolves, by 20. And then we just beat the best team in the NBA, Boston Celtics. So after all that, going on the road on back-to-back in Atlanta, dude, I'll be fucking shocked.
I'm not
And
even
the
seeing
Hawks.
anybody out, anybody resting as of
there's-
right now, and it could change. Who
Yeah.
knows? Looking at that spread, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a sneak rest or something. But as of right now, on the daily lineups on Roto, whatever, nothing. That's crazy.
And now it's a pick.
Yeah.
Thunder were -2.
Yeah,
Oh.
just moved right in front of our face.
Well, that's a sign right there. Anytime a line moves in front of our face, we're gonna take it.
Yeah. Hawks have
Trent,
also
are you gonna
lost
be fading your
4 or
boys?
5.
I told
That's
Dave,
crazy.
I said, just put a unit or two on the Hawks, and if OKC wins, just tip your cap.
Yeah, honestly, just a great 2 weeks for the boys if they can get that done. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
All right, I'll fire up a little NBA action today. I mean, Atlanta has not covered since World War II, and they're 7-25 ATS this year too. Give me a break.
They're the worst team against the spread, I think.
I mean, they have
That's
to be at
hilarious.
7-25. They have to be. And then OKC 23-8 ATS. Jesus, Trent, have you been taking them enough?
I've been taking them. Yeah, I've been taking them a lot. I don't want to interrupt your CBB craft sesh.
I know, but I also like talking about these bets too. And you just gave us a whale, so I got no qualms.
Yeah.
Are you fading your squad tonight, Trent?
I'm gonna put some units on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm with you on that too. Give me the Hawks. Sure. Gosh, down to a pick on my bet. Any other NBA lines that look weird as shit before we bounce back to CBBs?
I'll do some looking.
Okay.
Dude, how many times the Bucks and Pacers play basketball, man?
Dude, for real, it feels like every fucking
Playing again.
Thursday.
260 damn near total again.
I know. It's moving down a little bit, but
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Hmm.
Trent, you see what's up on the board again for the Thunder? After burned everybody and their mother last night.
Oh my god, is it exactly? If it is, it's actually fucking smacking. Let me go to it. Yep.
yep.
I promise you, chat.
Lou
is
Dort's
it.
hitting 2 threes, man.
This is it.
Yep.
I promise you, it's a Lou Dort game,
God.
dude. He was
Lou Dort
wide
threes.
open threes.
Yeah, he was. He was the worst shooter of all time last night. When a
He
lot of
shot
people
7.
had that square in that bet.
Well, maybe they were leaving him open for a reason. You ever think of that?
Lights out. He just wasn't hitting them.
All right. Trent could no ball. Yes. Those are 2 good Phil's dunks from Trent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know if anything else looks weird to you in the NBA, Trent.
Yeah.
Well, here before we completely leave the NBA behind, there's another 3 square up that looks pretty interesting.
Uh-oh.
Go to Sir Kyle Lowry.
Uh-oh.
Lowry. I knew it. Oh, it's all red. Oh my
Uh-oh.
goodness. I might pick
Unbelievable.
both.
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet.
Look
Go
at
and add
that.
that one to my card. Add that puppy right there.
Yeah.
Lowry more than 1.5 threes. Red as my fucking beard.
Comparing that.
Holy
With,
smokes.
That's the Kobe White from last night.
yeah.
That is the Kobe White, man.
Speaking
That's
of
right.
Kobe White, it is on the popular tab though. What's his name to get a steal? His name is Miles Turner.
Miles Turner.
All red or almost all red.
All red. Yeah, count me in.
Oof.
Count me in.
Oh, man. Okay, Miles. Wake up, man. Time to fucking do something. Holy smokes. This could be the late night two-piece chalk out. Lowry threes, Ronnie, Alesta.
That could be a vicious late night three.
Kyle Lowry, Lou Dort, Miles Turner, steal, Bronny under points. 4 piece.
That's a whale. It's an absolute whale.
We're laughing now, but we won't lock it in, and then it's going to smack. You know?
Yeah, we're gonna be looking towards the late nights. You know, Trent is. And then he's gonna look to, I don't know when Zubac plays, but Zubac and then everybody else in that slip just somehow gonna get locked in and gonna turn green.
Zoobs. They got a Brooke Lopez steal up there.
Sure.
Dudes. What are
See,
they
that's
doing with
great.
the Brook
Kyle
Lopez?
Lowry threes is so hitting, bro.
Yeah, that's hitting.
Okay. Unbelievable. All right.
Beautiful.
Zubac and Jokic, sure.
Should have put Matt Downs in there. All right, go to
That one's an early start, but yeah. But
Yeah, that one starts in like 2 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
So early cake pair.
WNBA craft sesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Let's jump back to CBB real quick. I know chat is starving for some college basketball whales. Javon, you lean Howard at home here and probably just like that 40 points.
I lean
Like,
Yale,
yeah.
but I mean, the only thing that gives me a little hesitation is the exact same spread as yesterday's midday college basketball game. That was the freest cover of all time. So it's in the back of my
against your
mind.
boys, Air Force. Okay.
Yes, I'm so glad they got blown out. I love to see their downfall in basketball, of course.
Just basketball.
Yeah, just basketball.
Else, right?
Yeah, not their actual occupations, but in basketball, absolutely.
I'm glad you could finally clear that up, Javon. People have been asking questions.
Yeah, rumors have been swirling.
All right. See, Seton Hall and Providence. Sure. We should have gotten Mikey on here for this, but I think we could probably guess what he's going to be on. Providence laying 6 points here, Javon. What are you thinking? Are we getting sharp with Seton Hall here on the road, getting 6.5, or is Providence going to do what they always do, and that's get a goddamn hard-earned win at home?
Yeah, I think they probably roll against Seton Hall in this game. I just don't think Seton Hall matches up pretty well. They're not great on the road either. It just feels like a spot where they're going to come out super flat offensively against Providence, so I wouldn't mind laying that 6.5.
I like that under that was already kind of low, in my opinion.
Total is low.
3 points. This is going to be a nasty dogfight type where, like, I don't want to bet Providence at all because I think that there's going to be limited points in this game, which in my mind relates to the dog covering, getting 6 points. Duh. I could see Seton Hall maybe covering this. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think they're going to win outright, but I do think this game will be very low scoring. Play of the day in this game would be the under. With that total down 3 points, and I already thought it was very low. Two teams who know each other very well. Two teams who don't like each other very much. Two teams who have been scoring some decent points recently, but two offenses I really am not in love with, to be honest with you. I think Providence wins this game, soars under, and they win by 4.
Yeah, I could see
All
that.
right.
I could see it.
We got a Thrasher subby coming in hot. Yale game reminds me of Maryland game yesterday. Maryland was a dog. Everyone was on. Didn't think Howard is the same way. Plus, the campuses are not too far from each other. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Javon, any plays in Longwood?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I got to play in LaSalle George Mason's. You can probably guess what it is.
Yeah,
Wanna take a
probably
guess?
take a guess.
Give me LaSalle. What are they? The Explorers? Honestly, a
Yeah.
W mascot. Give me the Explorers. Okay. Give me Dora the Explorers with the points at home here. This team shoots lights out from deep, and George Mason does not cover the 3 well at all. That's their weakest aspect of their defense. Do I believe in George Mason? Do I root for this team? Are they close to me? And do they have Darius Maddox from Virginia Tech on their team? Sure, they do. And I wish them the best of luck. But in this spot, money's green. It's got to be LaSalle, Javon. George Mason is now finally getting some respect. I saw them in the Mid-Major Madness top 25 mid-majors rankings, and they even reposted it themselves, gassing themselves up. George Mason, they probably deserve it. Okay, but I want to fade this 11-2 team that's gotten off to their best start in years after losing their coach, Kim English. Looks like this team took that personally, and they got off to a very hot start this year. But I like LaSalle, barely getting any points here, sitting at 9-4. This team's strengths are atrocious for George Mason. Like I said, they shoot the 3 very well, and George Mason cannot cover it at all. George Mason hasn't played against a really good 3-point shooting team yet. And LaSalle's coming off of 2 losses, including a loss in their last game to Howard, Javon, where they were minus 7.5. They only put up 66 points. I think LaSalle and the Explorers bounce back here at home in their first conference game, and they get a big-time win against George Mason outright, but I'm taking the points. Not a heathen. Give me plus 3.5.
I'm in for that. I like that.
Yeah, they got these 2 guards, Brantley and Brickus, 2 studs who are going to be lighting it up from deep today, Javon, for LaSalle, who's not very big anymore. They just shoot 3s, and that's good in this spot for George Mason. All right.
I'm in.
Anything else on this board, or are we moving and grooving?
No, we're moving.
Okay. I lean Rutgers plus 8.5 against Ohio State. Don't know if I'm going to get to the counter there with Rutgers, but they're coming off an embarrassing loss, Javon. I think they lost to – who did they lose to? Oh, they beat Stonehill by 1 point in their last game. Give me a break, dudes. And now they're plus 9.5 to plus 8.5 against red-hot 11-2 Ohio State that continues to win and overperform. I lean Rutgers with the points. I think that's an overreaction of the spread there.
Could be. It's a big number.
Okay. I also like Rhode Island at home, Javon. Any thoughts on them against St. Joe's? The Hawk will never die.
Yeah, I was looking at it. It's just going to be like a 3-point shooting competition for Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have to be how they win. It's like it could easily go very poorly and they lose this game by 30, or if they're hitting their shots, they have a chance to win this game outright. With the total moving up, I guess that could be a pretty good sign for Rhode Island, hitting a couple of their shots. But I don't know. I just think that team sucks. Line movement's certainly weird. It's like there's no chance I'm going to bet St. Joe's today, but I wouldn't be lying, or I would be lying if I said a fake sharp Rhode Island spot isn't in the gut.
Okay. And that's a tale as old as time over the last 3 years. So, okay, maybe we stay off Rhode Island, but I definitely lean that way with the points at home. Anything in Louisville and UVA's?
No.
UVA coming off a hilariously embarrassing loss in their last game. They probably do bounce back and cover, but not betting it.
Probably. Yeah.
OK State. Okay, Javon. You like
Yeah.
OK State today. What do you like about them against Chicago State?
Well, you know what the funny thing is about this game? Chicago State, I don't know who scheduled this, but they played last night, and they played in Manhattan against Kansas State. So, like, I don't know who scheduled a back-to-back trip to Kansas State and to Oklahoma State in 2 days, but that's a mistake. And they actually played pretty well last night. I think they lost by 7 or 8. So, like, the spread was like 20.5, pretty similar to what Oklahoma State is tonight. And they covered comfortably in a very low-scoring game, one of the few times Kansas State has come out and actually been held down like that, points-wise. They had a very low total in that game. It looked pretty telling. Now the total today is higher. Now you see Oklahoma State get steamed a little bit higher. It's a tough place to play, no matter how much you believe or don't believe in Oklahoma State's team. I don't believe, but Gallagher Abbott's a tough place to go into off of the rare road back-to-back for a non-conference mid-major team. This just seems like an awful spot. Or Oklahoma State, which I'm glad that they've already had a game under their belt post-break. They played, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. So if it was their first game back, I would be a little more cautious from Christmas break, but it's their second one. Didn't look great in the first game, but they put up points. This just feels like they come out and win by 30. And Chicago State, I don't know who schedules all of their games because they had another stretch where they had like 5 games in like 9 days, not tournament related.
Yeah, look at what Chad's saying, Javon. They've already played 20 games.
Yes, yeah. I don't know why they do this. And like it's weird. And like this is the penultimate, like, why are we playing back-to-back games in Manhattan, Kansas, and Stillwater, Oklahoma? Like two.
Well, I've got a pretty good guess. So they're the only independent team in college, so they probably take what they
I know
can
it's
get.
I know it's tough to schedule, and obviously they want bye games, but a back-to-back, that's just like a fuck you to your program and your team against two Big 12 teams.
They probably took the bag. They took the bag from these two schools before their conference play starts, and they don't even give a hoot about back-to-back games.
Like I know they gotta fit in some games before their season runs out because nobody wants to play them towards the end of the season and in March because they're on conference play. But like, good Lord, man, that's a ridiculously tough spot to be put into.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Talk about tough spots. Javon, Fordham getting 3.5 points at George Washington here. George Washington has been such a wagon, such a mid-major wagon. Love to see it, too. I root for this team. And they've got some studs. They do, and they have a pretty good coach. But Fordham has got some size. And Fordham, I think, is going to out-physical George Washington like they do every single year, every time they play them. It's like a tale as old as time. Fordham's big team comes in and beats up a George Washington team with a bunch of small shooters. It happens every single year, and it's going to happen again in the spot. The spread is hilariously short, and for good reason. Fordham has the recipe to beat George Washington, and I know George Washington's been off to a great start this season. That should make the spread even weirder and make you guys want to take Fordham even more in this spot. Fordham has not been doing shit recently. Fordham is not the better team overall, but matchup-wise against this small George Washington team, Fordham has the edge, and I think they win outright. But give me the points with the spread down from 4.5 to 3.5. Fordham coming off of one of their first good wins of the season, really, last game against Columbia. George Washington has not been covering recently. It's seeming like some of that magic is starting to wear off. They are still getting wins, but they're playing the easiest schedule ever. Their last couple games, Javon, they've played University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Sure. They've played Alcorn State. They've played Coppin State. They've played Navy. Okay, those teams are atrocious. Those are bottom 50 KenPom teams, all of them. Fordham, not saying they've played many better teams, but their strength of schedule is a little bit harder, and they're coming off a game where they looked at their best. I think they get an upset here on the road against a team they own and match up extremely well against. Give me Fordham on the road.
This feels like the game where we get a surge stream pitch on George Washington money line, and it's trying to sneak its way into the community lay.
Yeah, you'll hear one. We'll set the line at over a half. George Washington pitch is minus 180. It's almost up to minus 200. You're getting one today. As soon as you do, I will be putting 2 units on.
I need something sharp like fucking Buffalo yesterday. Short line.
Buffalo was the sharp play. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Buffalo was the sharp play.
Buzz.
What else? Javon, do we have only like 7 o'clock games today? Oh, no, we have some later games.
No, we got some late games. Bronny plays late.
Bronny does play late. Keep scrolling. Javon, stop us if you need it, but I don't. Fuck Davidson. Might just bet Dayton today for the odds. Yeah, we could stop at FSU. And I hope you're with me on this one. Give me the Seminoles. You like the Seminoles, Javon, or no?
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
Ooh.
Give me the Seminoles. This Georgia Tech team has been overperforming, and I'm not saying Georgia Tech doesn't have some studs. Okay, they do. Miles Kelly is a beast. But this team, again, kind of like I just talked about with Fordham, you're going to get a big Florida State team at home, and they're playing against a small Georgia Tech team that likes to run a lot. That spreads up from 3.5 to 4.5. Georgia Tech has the better record as of right now. They're 8-4. Florida State has been so mid the last 2 years. They're mid again this season. They're 6-6 up to this point. They haven't covered a game in over a month. They're coming off of an outright loss to Lipscomb. You can't lose to Lipscomb if you're Florida State. They're going to bounce back, and they're going to get a big-time win against a small Georgia Tech team. Give me the trees down there at Florida State to get a big-time win, Javon, and out-physical Georgia Tech.
Yeah, my FSU formula is always very simple because they can't shoot. They're literally all football players playing basketball. So if they're playing a team that's not physical and not strong, and you have a lot of smaller guards, they're just going to rim run the entire game. And if they're bigger than you, then it works. And Georgia Tech is small, but also very bad at defending the rim on the inside. So like that's kind of exactly what Florida State wants to do, especially when they're at home, when they're in their best little element there. So I do like Florida State too. I'm with you.
Okay. All right. Dubs. Keep moving and grooving, Goots. All right. That High Point Radford game is going to be electric, but I got no plays. Should be some points.
Yeah.
What else? Lafayette. Javon, tell me why Lafayette is a favorite today against Army, and tell me why they moved from a pick 'em to -2.5, -3. Some places. Why?
Yeah, this feels like Army, or it feels like Buffalo.
Okay, good. You scared me there. I thought you were about to say you're betting Army. I was like, what?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely
No,
not.
this feels like a Buffalo spot from yesterday where we fade Army and back Lafayette here. A 1-12 Lafayette team who moved from a pick 'em to -2.5 at home against a 4-9 Army team. They're not great. And by the way, this Army program, I don't know what they're doing or why they fired their coach last year. But he was a pretty decent coach, and he was there for a while, and Army really has not looked sharp so far this season. But they are coming off an outright win as +6.5 dogs against UTSA in their last game, Javon. But that was actually almost 2 weeks ago. You know the last time that Lafayette's played? They're feeling pretty good. They had a game about 3 days ago against Richmond, and they only put up 38 points. Okay, so they got the rust out in that one. Maybe the worst performance from a team in Division I college basketball for the season so far. That's the kind of team I want to put my coins on the next game. Don't even overthink it. As crazy as that sounds, that's how you make money betting, folks. Take notes. Look it up. Fade Army coming off an outright win is +6.5 dogs at UTSA. And back Lafayette, who has not won a game since Nam, is 3-9 ATS this season, is terrible, is 1-12, and is a -2.5 point favorite. Okay.
And just like Buffalo yesterday, you want to know how many D1 wins they have this season?
How many?
0. Our only win was against Wilkes College.
Unbelievable. It's got to be Lafayette. It's got to be Lafayette. Okay? Has to be. It sucks that they're up to minus 160 because this total opened up at 118, so low, and it's up to 124.5. Interesting. A lot of movement there with the spread moving towards Lafayette. Probably a good sign because Army cannot put the ball in hoop. But Lafayette's coming off a 35-point game, so not going to act like they're offensively gifted. Okay, they're not.
Yeah, not in the slightest.
Give me Lafayette. Okay. Strictly a line play here. Reminds Javon a lot of Buffalo yesterday. Let's hope Lafayette gets their first D1 win tonight. How about that? That's a good goal for the new year.
How about it?
Get a D1 win under their belt. All right. Dubs. Keep moving. Keep grooving. All right. Any plays? Eileen Marshall, but I'm not going to get to the counter.
Oh, there you go. Let's talk about Clemson.
Talk about.
Yeah, I like Clemson. It's like, even with the slight line move back, I was expecting this to be a unranked home favorite system play that all of Twitter is on. And like, I've seen a lot of Miami tickets, but it doesn't fit the system because they're not favored. And this is a Clemson team who, like, we saw them as 2.5-point dogs to TCU on a neutral court. I've seen a lot of short lines for Clemson. I don't think it's a team that the books really know what to do with just yet, maybe because they're not as good as their results have shown, but we haven't really found that out yet. So I haven't been scared to scope Clemson any sort of disrespect on lines, and now we're seeing them as a favorite against Miami, which you can argue maybe it's because a couple guys are questionable or whatever. I can tell you they're probably going to play. But I talked about this with Miami prior to the season. I think they're very overrated, partially because they have no depth now, which when you have guys that are questionable or playing a little banged up, that's going to be a pretty big problem, especially when, like Clemson, you don't beat them just by shooting over the top and playing in transition. You have to beat them by playing with PJ Hall on the inside, or Ian Shefflin for that matter. So like, we look at the teams that have given them a lot of trouble, it's not the teams that can run. Like TCU struggled for a lot of that game. Really, a lot of the teams that they've faced have struggled for a lot of that game. The one team that beat them actually and didn't just give them trouble was Memphis, who got to the rim a lot, got to the free throw line. That's more how you beat this Clemson team, because they're pretty fundamentally sound on the perimeter. So I think they have a pretty good matchup today. So I like Clemson. I do think we talk about the perimeter defense for Miami, also a big problem when you have guys like Joe Girard, who is a walking bucket whenever he wants to be, and PJ Hall, if he gets Norchad into foul trouble, which he's very prone to do, they're cooked.
Yeah,
absolutely cooked.
I agree. Looks like our guy YFN Della got in here late. Ludor 3's juiced to the over and still up with a red out chart on Prize Picks. We got to lock that one in ASAP. ASAP Rocky. Okay, if that's juiced to the over,
wonder.
I'm going to get that one.
I don't know where it was yesterday. I'm interested to see if anybody knows off the top of their head or can look. I wonder what Ludor 3's the price was yesterday when he went under. So if it's even juicier today, that would be crazy.
Okay. Miami now respected, which means they sell. JFK family saying yes, and they're definitely a public dog today, without a doubt. I'm seeing 53% of bets, 60% of the handle on Miami spreads, and even more bets and handle on Miami money line. That's one of the most public dogs I've seen all season in college basketball. You don't see public dogs getting fucking 72% of bets on the ML very often. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say,
nobody believes in Clemson either.
Yeah, as much as I love or like Clemson in this spot, if one of those guys between, Pack and Wooga, like if one of them doesn't play, there's going to be somebody on Miami that has a lot of value to take on their Prize Pick squares or their props, just period. Because if you want to take a guy like one of the two doesn't play, take the other one between those two guards. And then you got Matthew Cleveland, who's a guy that they're going to have to use bringing up the ball a little more, and his usage is going to skyrocket. So, like, any of those guys really who do play, if there's a guy missing from that lineup, you should probably jump on. I'll say that.
Okay. Sure. And I will say, if Poplar or who was the other guy that was questionable?
Nigel Pack.
Is it Pack?
Pretty sure.
If Poplar or Pack are out, I might be staying off this game because it would make the line make a little bit more sense personally. But if those guys both play and Clemson stays a favorite here on the road, I'll be on them with you. Okay. But not bet Miami, have no desire to bet Miami. They are a public dog, and I think either way they're going to lose and not cover. So I'm with you on that play. Back Clemson, they're so slept on. Talked about it before the season, Javon. It's their year. It's their year. This team is old.
30.
Oy.
Ooh, to that
I
now.
saw some people saying he was minus 110 yesterday too, though. So, including Fat Girl Zank. So I don't know.
Huh.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Trendsetter has a trend, likes Miami a lot. I bet that shit's kicked. All right. Yeah, this guy's saying it was minus 110 yesterday to the over. Okay. All right. Dubs, keep moving, keep grooving. We only got 10 more minutes here. And we got some late night take me home pieces, huh? Keep going. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it going.
I don't want to I'm not gonna take it, but Notre Dame looks awfully They're looking like a very obvious like fade spot. Coming off the massive win where they couldn't miss a shot against NC State. I feel like this is they're going to get smacked game against an NC State team who is playing pretty good basketball right now. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if I want to go to the grave with Notre Dame in this spot, but I definitely lean their way.
We can't be buying back into the Irish yet, man. It's been 2 games.
I know. Not buying back in, but like they're playing with a lot of young guys. Like they have one of the youngest rosters that
I know they stink.
they've ever had. They're not very good, but like it's only natural for them to get more comfortable and better. And what better of a confidence builder for a lot of young guys than destroying one of the perennial best defenses in college basketball? Just saying. I wouldn't be shocked if you see another good performance from Notre Dame.
Okay. All right. I hope you're right. As a closet Notre Dame fan who fell in love with college basketball because of Pat Connaughton and Jerry Grant, I hope you are right. But my coins will be staying far off the Irish probably all year because I'm biased as heck and I want to bet on every game.
There's another big performance, latest game I think of the night, that I will have my coins on the opposite side instead.
Okay.
So we can go to that.
Yeah.
Which is probably another team that we like to bet probably less than Notre Dame. And I'm taking.
Tell me why you like Fresno State.
I'm taking them again, which I think it's a pretty decent spot after SDSU just beat the Zags. Really good performance by them, kind of in all facets of the game. But we know what Fresno State likes to do. Their offense is not great. 3-point shooting, not great, but they keep games slow. They keep games really just in the half court. So against an SDSU team that you're hoping some shooting regression comes from after that game, it just feels like a really gross game that Fresno State keeps close. We've seen these Mountain West games play out time and time again just like this, especially with San Diego State when they have guys like we talk about Jaden Ledee, why he's been so good because he's had, frankly, a lot of great matchups against non-athletic bigs. They've been getting those matchups pretty consistently. So like against Fresno State, I'm not sure if he's going to have full like reign to play his style of game because they're going to slow him down. They have bigger defenders. They have more athletic defenders that they can put on him as well. So I think it's going to make life really tough for San Diego State. I mean, they're 16-point favorites. So it's not like I don't think they still win the game, but the way that Fresno State plays and the way that I think they match up with San Diego State, I feel like this is a perfect spot to just say they're going to make this game gross. It's a 136.5 total. We're not used to seeing that when it comes to Fresno State games or, the formerly known San Diego State big defensive team that we haven't really seen too much this year. This just screams a game that you just look and it ends up in the 60s.
We're going to need Yap Jr. to be a fucking problem.
Yeah. Going to need it.
We're going to need Yap Jr. to get going. Chad, if you guys don't know who that is, Donovan Yap, guard on Fresno State. We need him, the senior, to just be lights out tonight. Looks like he's coming off a 10-piece. We're going to need at least a 10-piece from Yap tonight. All right? Yeah. And I ain't talking about Yappy time. I'm talking about Donovan Yap.
Yeah, not Yapton. We need the two little I don't even know how to say the guys' names, but Boyake and the other center, they're going to seem to be locked down. Because if they get bullied on the paint, probably over.
Andre's their main guy.
Well, yeah, but I figure he's not going to be on like Jaden Ledee. I would figure that Boyake might have a little more on Jaden Ledee.
Yeah. But Ledee plays the 5, doesn't he?
Sometimes.
For Fresno.
He plays a little bit of the 4 too, just because he plays like it depends on what lineup they go with. Because he's a smaller big, obviously. So he's like he's 4 size. Yeah.
They just play so small, dude.
Yeah, it's just like him and like Elijah Saunders that played like 4'5", whatever lineup they put out there. So, I mean, I would assume they're going to go with both those guys on both sides to start. So whoever's getting looks on the D has got to be on their shit defensively.
Okay. Well, I hope it's Andre because he's the heart of that team. I hope it's Andre.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's either him or Boyka. All right. Sure. Give me Fresno with the points late night. I'm in.
Yeah.
That total's low enough for me to back it. These games between
decent show here. How about UCLA playing Stanford after they just rocked Arizona? People are not talking about that game enough. Low key. Stanford, that Arizona game was shocking. I didn't think we were going to see Arizona get rocked like that for a bit in the conference play. GG, cake, muted, potential. But yes, they put up 100. They rocked them in that game, and now they're playing a really good UCLA defensive team. So I don't hate UCLA in the slightest bit today.
10.
And there is indeed tens.
Good. All right. Interesting take there. I mean, both these teams, Cal and USC, are coming off of atrocious losses. Both these teams have been terrible. Haven't they? I don't know if I'm in a rush to bet either of these guys.
No,
They've
I'm
both
not.
Been so bad, Javon.
Yeah, they're bad. I mean, UCLA just can't score. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I feel like this could be a very good, if you don't want to lay the 4.5 or the minus 200, obviously. I think it's going to be relatively close for the majority of the game. So take out a live bet on UCLA ML if you can. But I do like them even minus the 4.5 here.
Yeah. I don't know, dudes. Do I want to fade Stanford coming off that big win against Arizona? Sure. I wish it was any other team besides this fucking fake good UCLA squad that just keeps losing, man. They just keep losing.
Well, how about if you don't want to back UCLA, what about the under? Because they can be moose shit, and Stanford also put up 100 points on ridiculous shooting against Arizona in that last game.
Yes.
That's backing UCLA without backing UCLA. Or
you
can take Stanford team total under. However you want to play it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd rather take that under, I think, than lay it with UCLA at this point. But I like where your head's at. I like the sell job.
Yeah.
And I like the squad ride we're about to craft up right now. Goots, run that shit. Dubs. All right, chat. We got to get back on track here with the squad ride W after yesterday's shit show of best bets. Okay. Javon, what are we thinking here? What are we loving? We've obviously got our best bets here below that we could pull from. Gosh, what do we do about Clemson with that injury shit?
I want to keep it out only because I don't want to get screwed by them putting like Nigel Pack and Poplar out in a couple hours and the line doesn't move. So then I'd probably be off. But keep it in the back of your mind. I really like Oklahoma State though. That spot is crazy.
We'll go OK State minus 19. We'll go Fresno State plus 16. Out of the nasty plays that I have below, Javon, what do you like in the back? I don't think I have a favorite out of those. I think
I like Lafayette, dude. I mean, a team without a D1 win in 13 games, and they're 2.5-point favorites with the steam their way. I know it's a little juicier, but that's the play that sticks out to me for sure.
We're going Lafayette money line. We'll go LaSalle plus 3.5. One more play, Javon. Hawks. Has to be the Hawks. Has to be the Hawks. Atlanta, Emma in the NBA. Okay. Sure. Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners. You have 1 minute. Hurry up. Go. Hurry up. 5 plays, 5 winners. OK State minus 19. We've got Fresno plus 16. Lafayette looking for their first D1 win on the ML. LaSalle plus 3.5. And the Atlanta Hawks on the ML. Hurry up. Go. We have 1 minute to get your votes in. Hurry up. Go. All right. Get your votes in, chat. Hurry up. All right. We got the surge stream starting up here in about 30 seconds. Okay. So stick around. Make sure you guys chirp Trent in the comments when he fires up the surge stream here in about a minute. Okay. W's. Any Kyle Lowry opinions, Javon, today? Fat Girls Inc.
Yeah, I'll be pairing Kyle Lowry and Lou Dort. Those 3 squares. I think it's kind of a mandatory send. I might have to pick one of those as the POD square for the day.
Ooh.
I have to do some digging.
What's good with this POD square? You're giving out a POD square every day for the new year?
Every day of the year. 365 days, 365 squares. Be cooking.
What, two days in right now? Just checking the time there.
2 days
you're
in,
2-0?
2-0.
Shocker. Love to see it. Chat, make sure you guys check out Javon's Twitter. Make sure you get those PODs every single day because he's spoon feeding them. All right, folks. And this is what I like to see right here, Javon. Obviously, love the college basketball slate today, but love the Hawks ML even more. Trent came in and might have spoon-fed a sharp play here on the NBA and the association. Okay, W's. Love to see it. Chat, Hawks ML for the squad rides. Stick around for the surgical stream starting up here in about a minute. Okay. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. We will be seen.
We will.
All right, folks. Peace, boys. Let's get those coins